The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Mesa, Arizona, on your new apparatus, job number 30206. Please utilize this job number when referencing your vehicle with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. Let's get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Let's start at the very front of your apparatus with the front bumper. Located under the front bumper, you'll find two closed tow hooks. Moving up onto the face of the bumper, you'll find an electronic siren. Moving just inward, you'll find dual air horns. Moving to the driver's side, you'll find a mechanical siren. Moving up on top, you'll find a tubbed storage area for your front bumper line that has Velcro secure straps. Moving to the side, you'll find an 1.5-inch front discharge swivel. Up onto the body itself, you'll find in the lower section two forward-facing emergency lights. On the outer section, you'll find your turn indicator. As you move in from that location, you'll find your headlight cluster, the outer beam being the low beams, and the inner beam being your high beams. Moving up just above the headlight cluster, you'll find an additional emergency warning light on the right and left side. Just on the outside, you'll find your two mirrors. One is a flat style mirror and the top portion is convexed. Moving up from that location, you'll find on the brow, you'll find your running lights. There are 5 of those. Located in the center, you'll find a fixed forward-facing floodlight. All the way up onto the top, you'll find a split light bar on the passenger and driver side. And then above that, you'll find a passenger side and also driver's side go light. Looking at the top of your aerial, you'll find your forward-facing master stream device, in addition with forward-facing LED lights. Generalized view of the front section of your apparatus. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the close-ups here. This is going to be your headlight cluster in addition with those emergency warning lights. Let's look to the side of your apparatus. You have additional lighting on the very side of the bumpers. There are also 2 access doors, one on this side and then one on the opposite side. Let's take a look at the one on this side, which is the driver's side. You'll find access, negative and positive terminals for your battery. On the passenger side, behind this access door, you'll find the tilt for your cab. This is the cab lift. This is a red indicator and also remote for operation of your cab tilt. The red is the lower and raise, and then you have a lock release and an activate. On the pillar, on the A side, driver's side, you'll find your VIN number. Here's a close-up of those mirrors, flat on the bottom, concaved on the top. Closer look here at the split light bar. This is the driver's side, and just directly behind that and slightly elevated, you'll find your spotlights as your go light. Generalized view here of the side of your apparatus. Let's go ahead and move to the very front area once again. Let's talk about your shore power inlet. As you can see here in white, this is an auto eject shore power. It is an inlet and it is a 15 amp inlet. Moving to the very top of the apparatus, you'll find on the very top, just beneath the ladder area, on the cab itself, you'll find a side-facing light. In addition, just behind that, your tank light indicating the amount of water in your tank, and above that, a side-facing flood. As we move down to the wheel, you'll find your Alcoa wheel, Goodyear tires. In the center, you'll find a sight indicator for the amount of fluid in the hub itself. Let's go ahead and take a general look at the side of your apparatus. We're now looking at the driver's side. Let's start in the upper left-hand corner. You can see that there are 3 cross lays here across the entire section of your apparatus. Just beneath that, you'll find an additional storage location and also a warning label regarding entanglement. As you look inside this compartment, you can see that there is lights just inside, LED for lighting up that inside interior. And beneath that, you'll find a pull-out style step for gaining access to higher items on this side of your pump. To access that step, there is a latch just on the left-hand side and then the right. To press those, once that has been done, this will allow you to gain access in pulling that step to its full outright position and locked. Next to that, or just back behind that, you'll find an additional step near the pump panel. To access this, go ahead and do the same practice. Reach underneath, grab a hold of the step, release the levers. There's on the right and left side. As you move that outward, you'll find that it will move completely out away from the vehicle. Once that has been done, you can go ahead and lift the next section here, which is a fold-out section, to gain full access to the step. Let's go ahead and move just a little bit further back on the apparatus. You'll find your foam pump drains. Generalized view here of the side of the apparatus, specifically the pump panel. We'll go over some of those features. At the very top, you'll find that you have a side-facing floodlight in addition with a grab handle. Also, just beneath that area, you'll find this smaller compartment, which is your diamond-plated side compartment. This is behind this compartment, I should say, is the possibility for long board storage or additional long tool storage. Generalized view of the side of your pump panel. Let's go ahead and start in the upper left-hand corner of your pump and go over some of those items. First component is the Pierce Manufacturing Test Maintenance Schedule at 150, 200, and 250. That is a placard on the left. Located next is your pump intake. Just to the right of that, you'll find your pump discharge. As we move further to the right-hand side of this location, you'll find an indicator for your water level. You'll also find a gauge here indicating your transmission temperature, and then just beneath the transmission temperature gauge, you'll find, if lit, an amber light indicating that you have a transmission oil temperature that is too high. Let's go ahead and move over to the cluster of gauges here. This set of gauges, first starting in the lower left, is your voltage gauge. Moving up from that is your oil pressure. Directly in the center, this is going to be your tachometer. Moving up to the upper right-hand corner, this is going to be your water temperature. And then moving down to the very bottom here, the last gauge, this will be your fuel gauge, indicating the amount of diesel in your engine. As we look through this area also, you'll find this black device. This is an audible speaker. This has the ability to increase or decrease the sound level by turning the outer edges of it. Also located on this panel, you'll find a red stop engine for your oil and also battery. You'll also have amber check engine and also amber check transmission. Let's go ahead and look down to the next set. This is going to be your vacuum and pressure test ports. Moving all the way to the left, you'll find an additional set of valves. These are the number 1, number 2 crosslays and also the 2.5 inch. You'll also find your pump light in this area. To the far right in this pinkish color, you'll find your aerial discharge. This is a wheel valve. Moving up from that, you'll find an offside discharge, large diameter. And as we move up into the upper right-hand corner, this is going to be your electronic primer. And moving further down from that, you'll find this tank fill. And up into the right in the black area, you'll find your TPG, which is your throttle pressure governor. Let's go ahead and move to the left. You'll find in the red section, this is your Husky foam system. This is the control module, and just next to it is the foam level indicator, currently indicating empty. To the right of that, you'll find a bank of switches. Further to the right, you'll find an additional 2.5 inch discharge. Further to the right, you'll find your pump drain. Moving further to the right, you'll find this placard. This is in reference pressurized caps and to relieve the pressure prior to removing the cap and the hazards associated. Moving just to the right, you'll find a passenger side discharge, 2.5. And then as we move over further to the right, you'll find 2 knobs. One of the knobs is the engine cooler and the other is your engine recycle. These are twist, not pull. Let's go ahead and move all the way to the left-hand side. You have some information here regarding your Husky system. And further to the right, you'll find your Husky system instructions. You'll also find in green your large diameter passenger side discharge. And you'll also find you have a 2.5 inch in this purplish color discharge. As we move further to the right, you can also find that same colored valve here. This is the discharge for the 2.5, which I mentioned earlier. And to the very far right-hand side, this is your tank to pump. Difficult to see in some of these images, but we'll go ahead and take a look further down.
You'll also find some warning labels here and danger labels regarding the use of using your owner's manual. Down at the lower left-hand side, this is a 2.5 auxiliary intake. And moving all the way up to the right-hand side, the American flag eagle with the Pierce logo, this is your large diameter intake. Just beneath that, you'll find your water placard. This is the information regarding the type of pump you have. And just beneath that, you'll find a variety of just different discharge drains. Let's go ahead and talk about this inlet. This is your foam inlet. As you can see, there are a variety of different step sizes for that. And just beneath that, you'll find an access door. This access door, once opened, you'll see inside a yellow lever. That yellow lever is for the ability to fill and also drain your foam system tank. Let's go ahead and take a look. General appearances here of the side of the apparatus just to get a sense of where things are at. But I want to jump back in and talk about some of those things on the pump panel. Let's start with the set of switches. You can see you have driver's side and passenger side floodlights. In addition, with an indicator for OK to pump. That's an indicator, not a switch. And then all the way down at the very bottom, a rear scene light. Let's jump back up to the very top of the pump panel. I would like to point out a hazard for fall. This is a warning label regarding that, and also talk a little bit about this indicator. It is green when lit, and it indicates do not open unless this is on. Down to the lower section here, you'll find your folding wheel chocks. And then as we move up to the very top, you'll find a side-facing floodlight. Let's go ahead and move now down to the lower section of the compartments, but first let's talk about this compartment. Two-section door. As we open the first section with a single pull in the upper right-hand corner, you'll find an additional lever to open the second portion of the door. Once that's open and you're inside this compartment, you can see that you have two adjustable shelves that are currently fixed. In the upper left-hand corner, you'll find your auto charger system when plugged into shore power, your generator 1 breaker, and also your own-in generator information regarding the current. Let's go ahead and look to the next set of compartment doors. Inside here, you'll find 3 SCBA holders. We'll go ahead and talk about this compartment here, our access door. When you open this access door, you'll find that you have your DEF 4.5 US gallon tank with a blue cap, in addition with bottle storage. In between those two compartments, you'll find a side-facing warning light. Let's talk about the compartment just up above from this location. This is a lift or upward swing compartment door. When it's in the open position, you can find storage. It is also lit with lights on the inside. Moving down from that location, you'll find this long compartment access door here. It's very short, but this houses your diesel fuel and also an additional bottle storage location. Just beneath that, you'll find a 20 amp 120 VAC. This is an output. Moving up to the very top, you'll find a side-facing floodlight. And as we move down to the very bottom in the rear section, you'll find your plates for your aerial device stabilization. Moving up into the rear section just aft of the stabilizer, you'll find an additional compartment door. In this compartment, you can see you have 2 adjustable fixed shelves. And as we move to the very rear, you'll find an additional set of steps. These are pull-out style steps. To gain access, simply depress this lever, allowing the step to pull down to its locked position. Let's go ahead and take a look at the rear section of your apparatus, and we'll talk about some of the components within this area. Let's first start at the lower left-hand corner. In the cluster, you'll find a backup, turn, stop, and emergency light. At the very top, you'll find emergency warning light. Next to it, a backup light, and also located in the very center, your traffic advisor and backup camera. As we move to the very top left-hand side, you'll find a rear-facing flood and also a scene light. Located at the bottom, just above that cluster, you'll find your rear scene lights and also an additional 20 amp outlet. There is also a warning label regarding, once again, pressurized caps. And as you look on the right-hand side, same configuration, brake, turn, and reverse. Let's take a look in the upper compartment here. This is the left-hand side of the apparatus. You'll find a long storage here for your supply line. As we move down just lower, you'll find your aerial inlet. You'll also find in this compartment the controls for the stabilizers. There's also a high idle and also an emergency hydraulic power switch. The American flag Eagle Pierce logo. This is your large diameter intake. As you can see, there are also 2 right and left attachment points and also your aerial drain behind this access door. Located in the very center underneath the roll-up compartment door, this would be the door that you would access if you needed to utilize an emergency. These are where those valves are located for your stabilizers. In the upper right-hand corner, once again up at the top next to the roll-up door, you'll find this compartment, same as the opposite side, long through compartment for hose storage. Also in the upper right-hand corner, just some warning labels regarding aerial stability and also electrical hazards for danger for electrocution. This compartment is for your right-sided stabilizer control, same configuration. Located in the center in your roll-up door, this is where your ladder storage is located. Once the door has been accessed, you can see on the left-hand side, you have long tool storage, and on the right, you have your ground ladders. To access those ground ladders, simply pull down this hinged device, allowing you to pull out the lower section of your ladders and any other ladders you choose. Let's talk a little bit about those pike poles. You have some 8-foots and some 12s, and also some 6s at the very top. Moving down, you also have 3 sets of ladders here, and also your foam currently stored for your foam system. 24-foot 2-section, 35-foot 3-section, and a 10-foot roof. Generalized view here of the side of your apparatus. Let's start down at the right-hand side, lower portion of the apparatus. You'll find once again your plates for your stabilizers. Let's go ahead and take a look. This is a single pull compartment. Once you've the one with the American flag and the Arizona flag on it. Once you've accessed that, you'll find you have 2 adjustable shelves in here. Once again, lighting with inside. As we move just forward of that location, you'll find an additional single pull door. Let's go ahead and take a look inside this compartment door. You'll find once again a 2 compartment. At the very top, you have tool storage board, a fixed shelf, and a pull-out. You can see here that you can mount tools on both the front and the back side of this. To gain access to the lower section, there is a latch on the lower right-hand corner, which will allow this shelf to be pulled in its outright position, indicated here by the finger point. Now it's in the full open or extended position. To return that, simply depress that black latch and it will allow it to return back to its original position. Here's an image of the side stabilizer. You can see that there is a warning light on the side and also instructions for hazards and warning labels associated with utilizing your aerial ladder. There's also a 20 amp outlet just in front of the aerial outrigger. And as we move to this compartment, similar configuration as to the other side, but let's take a look inside this compartment. You can see that there is 2 bottle storage locations here. Located in between, you'll find an emergency warning light just above the rear tire. And as we move forward of this location, you'll find an additional access door. This is once again going to be for bottle storage, and there are 2 locations for bottle storage here. Just beneath this area, you'll find a warning hazard sticker. This is also going to be a danger sticker for electrical, but the one I'd like to point to is the exhaust, and it is hot. Be cautious as to where you park. Up in the upper corner here, you'll find a side-facing floodlight, same as it is on the other side. Exact same compartment on this side. This is a pull upward type door, and in this compartment you can see you have an adjustable shelf. Let's go ahead and move just forward of this location. There's an additional compartment door here with the starting of the paramedic logo. As we open this compartment door, you'll find an adjustable shelf and also lighting inside. Down beneath this, you're going to find that exhaust, and that is the extremely hot. Be cautious in where you park. The exhaust is hot next to flammables. Let's move forward to this long compartment. This is a 2-pull door. First section pulls open. Second part in the upper portion, you'll need to access this latch. Once it has been accessed, it'll gain access to the full door. Upper compartment is a fixed shelf. Lower compartment is a pull-out drawer. Once again, to access that drawer on the right-hand side, down in the lower section, you'll find this lever. To press this lever, it will allow the shelf to move to the outward position, and that's also used to restore it back to its original stored position. Let's go ahead and start at the very top here. Upper left-hand corner, you'll find a grab handle. Moving to the right, you'll find a side-facing flood. And just under that side-facing floodlight, you'll find your roller side exiting for your electrical cord. Just beneath that electrical cord or to the side of it, you'll find a work light and also a grab handle. Let's go ahead and move now to the general side here of your passenger side pump panel. On the left-hand side, let's start in the upper left-hand corner. This is an access door. Just beneath that, you'll find your cord rewind switch. It also has information here on your cord. Moving up to the top behind that access door, this is going to be your water strainer. And as we move to the right, you can see that you have these 3 fold-down steps in addition with step lights. Let's go ahead and take a look at this 2-part access door located next to the steps. You'll find first 2 latches. Once those latches have been opened, that'll gain the second part of the door. And behind this, you have easily pump accessible visualization to the pump panel area. Let's go ahead and look back to the left-hand side. You'll find that switch regarding your cord rewind. It is a 200-foot, 120 VAC 15 amp cord. Just beneath that, there is an additional access door. Once you access this door right next to the number 4 discharge passenger side, we'll find your intake relief valve. From the intake relief valve, moving down from this location all the way to the base, you're going to find a variety of drains in addition with your 2.5-inch auxiliary inlet. Let's go ahead and move just underneath this section. You'll find a step. In that step, you'll find lighting in addition with a 2.5-inch do not cap. This is for your internal relief valve. Once again, just as you had on the driver's side, you have on the passenger side when it comes to a pull-out step. As you can see, there are 2 positions to depress to allow you to open that step. Just underneath that, you'll find that you have perimeter lighting and step lighting. Let's go ahead and take a look at that step itself. Here are the 2 locations on the left and also on the right-hand side. Once you've depressed those 2 locations, it will allow the release of this step to be pulled in its outward position. Let's go ahead and move up to the crosslays here. You'll find your 3 crosslays just as you did on the other side. Number 1, number 2 crosslay, white and yellow, and also in green, you'll find that 2.5-inch crosslay. Let's go ahead and take a look inside this compartment door, single pole compartment door. Also, there is a warning label here at the very top of this door regarding entanglement because of the hose above it. As we look inside this compartment door, this compartment does not have shelves, although it does have interior lighting. Let's go ahead and take a look at the overall passenger side of your vehicle. We'll talk about some of the components in this area. This is just to get you familiar with what's on this side. Let's start in the upper left-hand corner of the cab. As we start there, we'll start with this floodlight at the top, and just beneath that, this is going to be your tank indicator. This has green, blue, orange, and red for the amount of water in your tank. Just beneath that, you'll find a side-facing emergency warning light. As we move forward just above the front tire, you'll find this access door near the sticker that says TAC 4. This is an access door for accessing the filter behind it for your engine. As we look up from this location here, you'll find this is the entry point for air into your engine. Let's go ahead and move just forward of this location at the very top. Once again, you'll find a side-facing light, and at the top an antenna, go light, and once again your emergency warning lights. Generalized view here of the side of your apparatus from the passenger side. Let's go ahead and swing back around over to the driver's side. Let's talk about this compartment. This is the door going into the operator's seat. On the left-hand side, you're going to find a variety of different danger, warning, and caution labels located on the door. Please familiarize yourself with these prior to operation. Let's go ahead and move down just beneath the seat of the operator. You'll find a couple of different things here. One, your auto charger for shore power, an air inlet, and also your air inlet pressure. Just inside of the cab, you'll find an additional label for warning regarding the hazards associated with diesel exhaust. And just beneath that, you'll find a caution label regarding utilizing your owner's manual regarding doing maintenance. On the right, you'll find this large yellow placard. This is from Pierce to the city of Mesa. This is your date of manufacture, job number, VIN number, associated fluids, and also tire pressures. Very helpful here regarding information on maintenance. Generalized view here of the top section of your apparatus. We'll break down some of the components here in the next set of images. Let's start down in the lower section here. Let's go ahead and start down at the floorboard area. This is going to be at the operator's feet. You'll find two switches here. One is the air horn and the other is the electronic siren. These are both foot pedals. Let's go ahead and move back out and up just slightly. You'll find at knee height your master battery switch and also your pump shift. This is the indication for pump shift engage and OK to pump. There are two green indicators. Beneath that, you'll find your ports for diagnostic and also transmission. Just behind the operator's seat, you'll find your windshield wiper fill location. Let's go ahead and take a look as if we're in the cab, sitting in the operator's seat, looking to the right. You'll see that a variety of different components here. We'll break down these components individually. Let's go ahead and take a look just slightly to the rear so you have a better understanding of where we're at in this area. Let's go ahead now and move back to the dash as if you're sitting in the driver's seat. Let's start on the left-hand side of the dash. You'll find your ignition switch, start switch. You'll also find the rocker switch for your panel dim and also your headlight switch. In the upper left-hand corner, you'll find a yellow placard regarding the height, length, and gross vehicle weight ratings, and also the cluster here of gauges for operation of your vehicle. Let's go ahead and move to the right-hand side. You'll find an additional cluster of switches here. We'll talk about those and break those down next. Let's start with the lower section of switches here, down at about right knee level. This is going to be your aerial master, your aerial PTO, the OK to engage high idle, your high idle switch, your PTO for the generator, a blank, auto lube fault, and also your load manager. Moving to the upper right hand corner at the very top, you're going to find your siren control, and also just beneath that you'll find your climate control. Here's a close-up image of that siren control. As you can see, you have an air horn, electronic air horn, the cycle, brake, and also your radio control for manual, whale, yelp. There's also volume control here for your PA system. Let's go ahead and take a look. You have a heating system and cooling. You also have defrost, clearly indicated here in your cool and hot temperatures, low, medium, and high for the fan, and also your selection switch for recirculating, fresh, vent, and also heat. Looking on the right-hand side, you have your retarder on-off, your retarder auto-apply, your DPF regen inhibit in red, your front wheel lock, and also your mirror heat. Down from that location, your power auxiliary, your step air comp on-off switch, your drug box switch, a future location, an indicator for your supplemental restraint system fault, another additional feature, and also remember to engage your parking brake and front wheel lock while your engine is running. This is your command center here for Pierce. This has a lot of information available to you at your fingertips. Seek the owner's manual to walk through the components within this component. Let's go ahead and move next. In the yellow, you have your pull to apply system parking brakes and push to release. To the right, you have your emergency brake, or I should say your emergency release for your brakes. Let's go ahead and move down from that location. You'll find your Allison transmission pad. You can also see an indication here that it says pump in drive, and you'll see the digital readout up at the very top. Let's go ahead and move just further back. You'll see some generator operation instructions, and also on the center console, your main mirror. These are the controls left and right to allow you to control the main mirror of your apparatus on the right and left-hand side. Just beneath that, you also have some convenient cup holders for beverages. Just in front of the cup area on the operator side, you'll find a variety of switches here. Let's talk about some of these. These are the front flood, rear scene. You have a future location for an additional switch, and also the deck lights. Moving down to the bottom set of switches, you'll find that there is a driver's side cab body scene light. Those are the lights that were located at the very top of the cab. You also have passenger side cab body scene lights, driver's side flood, and passenger side flood. Also in the same vicinity, you'll have your controls for your go light. On the right is the on-off switch with a light when it is in the on position illuminate red. To the left is the control for the go light, which is on the top of your apparatus. This is your spotlight. Located just on the driver's right-hand side, just by the cup holders, you'll find this access panel. This is the access panel for fuse and breakers. Let's go ahead and move overhead of the operator, and we'll start with some of the components here. Generalized view here of these components. These are directly over the operator's head. Let's start in the upper left-hand corner with the emergency master, your electronic siren, your opticom, the high beam flash, in addition with the lower section of switches for your roof light, front warning, side warning, and rear warning. Moving just to the right, you'll find your traffic advisor, left, right, split, or flash, and also a high, off, and low power function. Moving just to the right of that, you'll find the touch master. This is for your siren control and PA control, and you also have the ability to plug in your microphone. Moving just over the center location, this is your unit radio for communications, and just in front of that unit radio, you'll find this red light. If indicated, you'll find flashing that indicates that you should not move your apparatus, that you have a compartment door or ajar or in the open position. Let's go ahead and pull back, looking from the outside into the rear section of the cab. As you can see, you have two seats here, SCBA seats. They are rear facing. They have the ability to store your SCBAs with inside the seat. Moving just to the right of that or looking forward, you have additional seats. These are two seats here that are forward facing that have, you can see your communication system above that. And also you can easily see all of the seat belts indicated in red for easy visualization. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the compartmenting in this area. You can see you have portable radio chargers on the left and right of each of these seats. And you also have 12-volt power supply. These are USB style power supplies. And also a compartment here for books, maps, pens and paper, and those types of things. Let's go ahead and go overhead in the rear section of the cab. You can see at the top, this is going to be your climate control for fan and temperature. Moving just forward of that location, you'll find grab handles, additional 12-volt fans. You'll also find push-on, push-off red and white lights. Down on the cab area, you'll find an access panel. In this access panel here, you'll find the oil and transmission for your daily checks for accessing those checks. Let's go ahead and spin back around. Let's take a look rear facing. You'll find you have in the rear of the cab, you'll have stereo speakers in addition with those two red and white lights and also your headsets. Down at the floor level next to the rear seats, you find that you have some charging devices here and also a raised seat, which underneath that is storage location here. Let's move back to the front cab. This is the passenger side. Steps are currently down. You can see the reflective tape here and also warning labels for using seat belts. Overhead, you can see you also have your speaker system and also some components. We'll talk about those components here as we work through the front section of the cab. Let's start with the seat. The seat is an air ride seat. There are controls just under the front section of your seat. There is also located on the cowling here your computer and also a box for your push to talk for your headset system. Moving just forward to this location, you'll find an additional charging for your portable device. And as we move forward onto the dash itself, you'll find three components. Two of those are 12-volt access and also your air horn button. Let's move forward onto the dash also. There are two vents in this location. Just beneath that, you'll find your supplemental restraint airbag. There is also a warning label regarding your airbag and usage and blocking. Please take a look at that warning label. This is also the location of your air horn. To the left, you'll find a USB style 12-volt and barrel style. Looking overhead of the passenger, you find your go light in addition with a set of switches. First, your emergency master, a blank switch, front flood, rear scene. These are the driver's side and passenger side cab body scene lights, passenger side and driver's side flood. Moving in the center here, you'll find your system radio here for stereo. Let's go ahead and look in the very top section of the pedestal. Down at the lower section, you'll find in the orange, you'll find your dead man switch. Moving up onto the actual pedestal, you'll find your communication piece. Moving down, you'll find a variety of lighting switches. Moving to the right, you'll find your waterway flow digital readout. And moving all the way to the far right, you'll find your hydraulic system pressure. Moving down, you'll find your 3 levers for retracting, moving left and right, and elevation. And a lot of information on the left-hand side of the cover. You'll find warning, danger, and hazard labels, and also you'll find all of your weights associated with utilizing your ladder. This is a 75-foot steel aerial ladder, and there are your waterway and weights. Once again, this is that dead man switch at the lower left-hand corner in orange. Looking just underneath the base of the ladder, you'll find your A foam tank and also your water fill location, in addition with your generator and all of your hydraulic reservoirs. Located at the base of the ladder, you'll find this step or storage compartment. This is a latched compartment. Let's go ahead and now take a look at your aerial. Looking at the ladder itself, you can see you have a 3-section ladder. It is steel, and it also has on each of the rungs grip tape, in addition with highly visible yellow indicators for the edge of the ladder. Let's go ahead and move up to the very tip section of your ladder. You'll find fold down steps. At the tip of the ladder, you'll find your communication box. Congratulations, Mesa, Arizona, job number 30206. If you have any questions as to the content of this video, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.